You're watching Just the News. I'm Amita Balachandra. Let's get straight to our top story. With starting off with COVID news in the country. Union Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia has today asked states and union territories to ramp up testing in areas that needed improvement. Now, he also asked states to focus on expanding the reach of teleconsultation services to provide timely healthcare. Now, according to ANI, Dr. Mandavia also urged them to send COVID testing and vaccination data. Now, the health minister also said that states that a large number of people are now opting for home isolation, and that states should ensure that they're being monitored as per national guidelines. In the meantime, India has reported 2.55 lakh new COVID cases and 614 deaths in the last 24 hours. I'll give you a brief picture of what is happening in different states, starting off with Delhi. Delhi has reported 6,028 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. The positivity rate is now at 10.55%. Yesterday, Delhi had reported 5,760 new COVID cases. So there's a marginal increase in the number of COVID cases as of today. Karnataka has reported 41,400 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. The test positivity rate is at 26.70%. Kerala has seen a sharp increase. 55,475 new COVID cases have been reported in the last 24 hours. Yesterday, Kerala had reported 26,514 new COVID cases. Mumbai, in the meantime, has reported 1,815 new COVID cases, similar to what it's been reporting in the last couple of days. Bengaluru has reported 19,105 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. In the meantime, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has said that COVID restrictions will be eased as soon as possible, as the government does not want the livelihoods of people to be affected. Now, he said that the positivity rate has reduced to 10% in the last 10 days. Mr. Kejriwal said that after receiving several requests from Traders Association, a proposal was sent to the LG to lift the weekend curfew and ease restrictions. Now, he said, and I quote, "Last week, some traders had come and they said that they are facing lots of problems due to the odd-even scheme and weekend curfew. The LG agreed to some proposals and on some, he deferred. Now, we will remove these restrictions as soon as possible." End quote. Meanwhile, Sikkim has made it compulsory for everyone entering the state to produce a negative RT-PCR test conducted within 72 hours of entering the state. If they don't have an RT-PCR test, they will have to undergo rapid antigen test at all entry checkpoints. Also in the news, Pfizer and BioNTech has said that they have started a clinical trial to test a new version of their vaccine specifically designed to target the COVID-19 Omicron variant. Now, the companies plan to test the immune response generated by the Omicron-based vaccine both as a 3-shot regimen in unvaccinated people and as a booster shot for people who already received 2 doses of their original vaccine. And this is a Reuters report which says that about 1,400 people will be enrolled in the trial. And some COVID information that's coming in from across the world right now. Belgium's health ministers have approved a recommendation to use a 4th dose of COVID vaccine to protect the people with a weakened immune system against the virus. Now, the Associated Press reported that about 77% of Belgium's nearly 11.5 million people are now fully vaccinated, and 6.3 million Belgians have received a booster dose. Now, Israel, in the meantime, has also announced a 4th dose for citizens above the age of 60 with serious illness. Also, Britain has announced that it will scrap COVID test requirements for fully vaccinated travelers entering the country from next month. Now, in a statement, UK Transport Secretary has said that from February 11th, travelers who have had both doses of COVID vaccine will no longer be required to take a test within 2 days of arriving in England. Let's also see what else is making news across the country. A trigger warning for people who are watching this right now. If you wish to stop watching at this point, you may do so. Delhi police on Monday has apprehended 2 juveniles aged 11 and 12 for allegedly raping an 8-year-old girl in Delhi. Now, the Quint reported that the CP of Northeast Delhi, Sanjay Kumar Sen, has said that the minor was playing outside her house at around 2 p.m. on 24th of January when she was allegedly lured and raped by a 12-year-old boy from the same locality. A case was subsequently registered under sections 363, 376 ABIPC, which is kidnapping and rape, and Section 6 of the POCSO Act. Now, the Delhi Commission for Women, as of yesterday, had sent a notice to the police seeking immediate action in this case. According to DCW chairperson Swati Maliwal, the girl is currently in the ICU battling for her life. Also in the news, the Supreme Court today has refused to grant interim relief on a plea challenging the government's refusal to renew licenses needed to receive funding from abroad to 6,000 NGOs. Now, the plea was filed by the US-based NGO Global Peace Initiative that said that the cancellation of licenses can have an adverse effect on the relief work done by these NGOs as the country is battling COVID. Now, Solicitor General Tushar Mehta was representing the centre and questioned the motive behind the plea and mentioned that thousands of NGOs that applied for renewal had already received extensions. He also pointed out that the petitioner is US-based. The petition included mention of the NGO Missionaries of Charity as well. However, the centre, if you remember, renewed its FCRA license on the 6th of January. And some politics now. A day after Congress named RPN Singh as one of the star campaigners for Uttar Pradesh polls, the politician has now joined the BJP. A former Union Minister of State for Home, Singh has been MLA and MP from the party and also was in charge of the party in Jharkhand. Addressing the media, Singh, without mentioning the Congress, said that the party he was associated with for 32 years is not what it used to be. He said, and I quote, "It is not the same party where I began and it is not the same ideology," end quote. He also added that he is ready to work with the BJP as an ordinary party worker alongside Prime Minister Modi. When asked about the resignation, Congress spokesperson Supriya Srinath said, and I quote, "It needs courage to fight Congress battle," end quote. Also, the Supreme Court today issued a notice to the Centre and Election Commission of India over a plea against political parties that promise or distribute, and I quote, "irrational freebies from public funds before elections." Now, the plea said that there should be a total ban on such populist measures to gain undue political favors from the voters as they violate the Constitution, and the Election Commission of India should take suitable deterrent measures. And some business news right now. The Sensex is down 4,000 points in 6 days. The market opened down yet again for the 6th straight day on weak global cues. Now, this comes amid cautiousness about the Fed meeting increasing interest rates in the US. Other reasons include Russia-Ukraine tensions and the increase in crude prices. Now, except IT, all other sectoral indices ended in the green, with PSU Bank, Power, Auto and Bank rose 2 to 4%. And news from across the world right now. Following a 1.2-hour video conference on Monday with allied leaders from Europe and NATO, the US President Joe Biden has insisted that there was total unity among Western powers after crisis talks with European leaders on how to deter Russia from an attack against Ukraine. He told reporters after the meeting, and I quote, "I had a very, very, very good meeting, total unanimity with all the European leaders," end quote. The UK, in the meantime, has warned of unprecedented sanctions against Russia if it invades Ukraine. The US also has put 8,500 troops on high alert to deploy to Europe as NATO reinforced its eastern borders amid growing tensions over Ukraine. Meanwhile, according to the New York Times, Ukraine has sent troops to guard the Chernobyl exclusion zone amid fear of invasion from Russia. It believes that the site where the Chernobyl nuclear disaster took place could be a potential entry point for Russia. The isolated zone inside, located in northern part of Ukraine, falls on the shortest route from Russia to its capital, Kyiv. Now, the Ukrainian army is carrying weapons as well as equipment to detect radiation in the area. Moving on to science and technology reviews right now, the world's biggest and most powerful telescope, James Webb Telescope, is all parked at its final destination now to observe the universe. Now, NASA, in a statement on Monday, said it has arrived at its cosmic parking spot 1 million miles away, bringing it a step closer to its mission to unravel the mysteries of the universe. Controllers back on Earth will now spend the coming months tuning the telescope to get it ready for science. And this is what telescope's goals are. It's to take pictures of the very first stars to shine in the universe and to probe far off planets to see if they might be habitable. On to sports news right now. Sania Mirza, who had said that this is going to be her final season on tour, has been knocked out of the Australian Open after losing in the mixed doubles quarterfinals. Now, Sania Mirza has won 6 Grand Slam titles, including 3 mixed double trophies. And one piece of good news before we wrap up this bulletin. According to a report from Reuters, a leading French aquarium vendor has decided to stop selling round fish bowls because they drive fish mad and kill them quickly. Now, Agrobiothers Laboratoire will no longer sell any aquariums with a capacity of less than 15 liters and only rectangle ones, as putting fish in small bowls without filtration and oxygenation is animal abuse. Now, the CEO in an interview with Reuters said, and I quote, "People buy a goldfish for their kids on impulse, but if they knew what a torture it is, they would not do it. Turning round and round in a small bowl drives fish crazy and kills them quickly," end quote. Now, that brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching.